Shalom everyone. I am so glad that you have joined us for the new episode of All Things L. My name is Elena, and it's not all about me. It's really all about the one true God, El as in El Shaddai, El Elyon. Today, I'm so excited to share with you about how to make good Chinese style Chinese fried rice. And fried rice is probably one of the most well-known dishes among the Chinese cuisine. And being from Hong Kong, we eat a lot of fried rice. It's just a very typical dish that we do. And a lot of times we do that with whatever we have left over. Today, we're going to do two versions of fried rice. One is a regular traditional fried rice with rice, and the other one is a keto version. So for those of you like me, try to cut down some of the carbs, that's the keto version for you, that we will use cauliflower rice as our substitute, and it's just as delicious. So we're doing both today, and combining them, it's like additional vegetables for the fried rice, which is so good. So let's get started. So let's talk about ingredients. And here we have two sets of ingredients. Like I said, we are doing two versions of fried rice. And we're gonna start with the onions. If you don't like onions, don't worry about it. It is not a must-have, and you can skip that. We're going to have some eggs, and I use 5-6 eggs. This is a very forgiving recipe. You can use whatever you have or you prefer. And we have cauliflower rice over there and regular rice on that side. We have mixed vegetables and some chicken sausages that I cut up here. Now, you can use ground beef if you would like, mixed vegetables. You can use whatever vegetables, like I said, is really all up to you and whatever you have in your kitchen. And last but not least is what makes fried rice, and is so flavorful, is the green onions. Now, if you don't like it, it's okay, but it really is the key ingredients to make fried rice what it is. And I've got some soy sauce here and some oil. And so let's get started here. I have some oil already in the wok. On the right side is going to be my traditional fried rice. And in this pot here, it is the cauliflower fried rice. So there's some oil in there, and I have them on medium heat. And my mother would say everything has to be like a medium high heat, but I just would prefer that. And so your oil needs to be hot when you start sauteing the onions. So this is what we're gonna start here now. We're gonna have the cauliflower onions first. So it's kind of sizzling, you can hear that. And let it cook. You don't have to stir right away. And stir fry, some people make the mistake of stir frying, just keep stirring in the beginning. You really have to let things cook in there for a second before you start stirring. Otherwise, it's just not being allowed to cook. Now we can kind of stir it. You can see what they call the onions started sweating and about to turn translucent. That's about done. Now the key to fried rice is everything has to be dry. If you got wet ingredients, vegetables are kind of saucy and soupy, it's not going to work very well. It's not the fried rice that you're looking for. I remember years ago, there was a lady from China made fried rice, and fried rice is really a typical southern Chinese dish. And she was from northern China, and she made this fried rice that the eggs were all kind of wet, and I didn't quite figure out at first. I couldn't understand why it wasn't good, and later I never told her that, but she had her vegetables too wet, and the rice was not dry, and so it really was not very good. So that is the key. You really have to keep your vegetables dry and all your ingredients dry. Now, this is browning really well because I had it on a higher heat. So, like I said, as long as you're not burning things, you should be good. So what we're going to do is we push everything to the side, okay? And traditionally, we do fried rice all in the same pot. You don't have to scoop it out. However, the eggs, sometimes some people would scoop the eggs out when they are done. But I think I'm going to just leave them in here. Now, the eggs here, I put a little salt and pepper already, and this is how the Chinese would do it, with the chopsticks, but you can use fork. And I'm gonna put more here. See how the egg's cooking? You just move it a little bit when it's cooking. You can see how the cooked eggs are solidifying a bit. And the eggs don't have to get cooked all the way because they're already in the pot, and the heat's going to continue to cook it. So I just need that not to be watery like this. This is a enameled cast iron pot, and I really like it. Sometimes it sticks a little bit, but watch, when things are dry, they're gonna all come together very well. Okay, I'm going to put the chicken sausage down here. Like I said, whatever meat you've got, you can use that. And you just want to heat it up, and the chicken sausage is already cooked. If you're using ground beef, I would definitely cook that first and scoop it out and add it on later. Now, while I'm having all this together, I'm gonna do the green onions. I cut the white part separate from the green part. And the reason is some people use all the whole thing of onion at the very end. I don't really like raw onions, so I like my onions cooked a little bit more, the white part especially. Because I am on keto, I'm not afraid of fat. So I will put a little bit more oil if I see it drying a little bit. And it's really all up to you. Don't worry about messing up. As long as you don't burn it, you are A-okay. Promise you that. The wooden spoon, I would leave that in there, but for the plastic, I probably would not do that. So you want to let the sausages heat up some more. This is a really, really easy thing to do. Can't go wrong. See how the eggs are browning. That's okay. Like I said, as long as you don't burn it, you're fine. Got the veggies here. See the vegetables here that is dried. Now I use frozen vegetables, and the key thing is, again, how do you get it dry? My secret is microwave. So my mother never uses a microwave unless she's visiting me, so she would not approve of this method. So if you don't use microwave, you can do you can run vegetables underwater and let it thaw out, and then let it sit on a medium heated pan and just let the moisture evaporate. Okay, so again, the key is the vegetable have to be dry. Very, very important. I cannot stress that enough. So I probably did the vegetables about 10 minutes or so from its frozen state in the microwave to dry them. But it's like cooking it, but you really don't have to cook it because it gets cooked right here. And here, for the cauliflowers, I'm gonna put that here last. Cauliflower here, it took a long time to dry in the microwave simply because it's just got a lot more moisture with the cauliflower rice. And if you have time ahead of time, then you want to let it sit and then drain it. Again, you can use the pan heated method for this. I'm going to use about a cup and a half. Even though it is a traditional fried rice, we would prefer to have more vegetables than rice in the fried rice. So you can see I use about a cup and a half, and it's up to you, whatever you want to do. Now the rice has to be cold. So again, because it's leftover dish, right? And so I used the cold leftover rice. But when you don't have any rice available in the refrigerator, you can definitely cook your rice the same day and then leave it in the freezer or refrigerator and let it cool completely, because if the rice is not cold enough, it will stick. And you do not want the rice to get stuck everywhere. So I'm gonna let it cook some more here. So a little soy sauce. I don't put a lot of soy sauce. And some people put sesame oil, oyster sauce, all kinds of things. But I just keep it simple, and I like to also make sure it's not too salty, because the flavor you can definitely add to it later, like more salt, more soy sauce later. But if it's too salty, it's kind of hard to undo. So at this point, I'm going to turn everything low heat because it's pretty much cooked, right? Last but not least, we're going to add the green onions in there. So I'm gonna put half of the onions here and half the onions in here. Onions in general are very good for you, and it's amazing. It's got a lot of nutritional benefits. Some people just don't like the taste of it, but it's okay. But I remember a long time ago, a lady, she was a stay-at-home mom, but she also had a little side business, and sometimes she would come home late and did not have enough time to make dinner, and so she didn't want to have her family think that she was too busy to cook dinner. So she would come home while she was trying to get everything ready. She would chop up some onions really quickly and fry them, like saute them. You know, the whole house would smell like, you know, she's frying onions, and they, you know, just smells like she's cooking something good. I thought that was hilarious. That's what she did. So we're going to just allow the green onions to cook a little. Voila, doesn't it look great? We're going to plate it up, and you will see it in the bowl like they serve it in the restaurant. Here we have fried rice, two different versions. We have the traditional rice. It smells so good. And the keto version, which all that vegetables, some of them are not really low carb, but they're without the regular rice. So both of them are gluten-free and healthy with mostly proteins and vegetables, and I hope you will get a chance to make your own version of fried rice. Super easy. Shalom, everyone.